having some challenges with the network. Recall that it did rain elephant and rhinos shortly before we started this program. Now, Engineer Gideon Ikhine, former aspirant under the umbrella of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is still with us in the studio. You were with the governor throughout the word-to-word campaigns. As someone in close proximity with the governor, what do you make of his commitment to the welfare and development of Edo people?
Well, the word-to-word campaign was a great experience.
Thank you.
And I can tell you that the governor, having gone through the 192 wards in the state, is thoroughly challenged to do more for the people, because there are practically some villages we went to. You could see he was heartbroken. Heartbroken because some of these places we went to, though they are in Edo State, but they've been neglected for so many years. And one of the reasons he embarked on the word-to-word campaign was that he wanted to feel the people. He wanted to experience what people were experiencing. He wanted to be part of them. He wanted to know the state of the people and to know exactly what he would do for them. Now, you know, prior to this time, people would normally have LGA, local campaign. And the maximum number of persons you get for such things is always about 4,000, 5,000. But this time around, we went word to word. And in some words, the minimum you could see maybe about 2,000 people. But in some words, you had as much as 5,000 people. Now, that is not even the catch. What we've been able to do, going around the 192, is now helping us to develop policy on your need basis. The need basis, what I mean by that is you go to a community, you discover that they don't even have a network on their telephone. And these are Nigerians. Don't forget, the state government do not have cell sites for telephone network. Yeah. So you see, by the time we are back from such campaign, you see the governor taking notes, writing to different carriers to see how they can assist these people, taking their problem personal. You know, some other party head went on word-to-word campaign. They too are gathering people with buses to say they are going on word-to-word campaign. What is the philosophy behind going from word to word? You go to some places and need to what they need. So we are now being driven by the needs of the people in formulating policies for various sectors of the government that will put in place to ensure we bring better life to most of these people. It's one thing to have a life. It's another one to have a living. You now see the governor, if his passion was to see I can transform the state, he has gone beyond that now to transforming the human being and the environment.
Okay, now, as a player in the oil and gas industry, what do you make of the Edo Modular refinery project? And how do you think it will transform the local economy in Edo State?
Well, I hear a lot of people call Governor Godwin Obaseki the MOU governor. I want to first of all take it off from there. You have big players to play. Government is willing to partner with people in the development of the state. So when you are talking of projects like the modular refineries, you are talking of power plants, the government on its own cannot just go straight into this project. So before you do bigger projects like this, you do what you call your feasibility studies. You do your front-end research on this project. At that point in time, You bring people together who have the same idea with you, who are ready to invest. In that process, you draw up your MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, Memorandum of Association, depending on the number of persons that are going to be involved in such projects. Today, the Modular refinery is being bettered by the vision of Governor Godwin Obaseki. We've been hearing of federal government trying to build refinery over so many years. The Port Harcourt refinery that was built by people like JGC of Japan and co. will be, I don't know, maybe you have a Mercedes-Benz vehicle, you try to repair it, you bring some part from Hyundai, you bring some part from Mercedes, you bring some part from Volvo. When you look at the product, you don't know what to call that kind of car. Those are the kind of refineries we have in the country these days. But this is a man that have stepped aside to say, okay, fine, let's do something small. If we can get it right, we'll do something very big. Today, that Modular refinery is almost about over 90% completed, and it will soon be coming on stream. To be able to achieve this feat, to even make an attempt in an environment where people try to shoot people down, and he didn't lose his focus. He believed in his vision that he could do it. I think not just Edo State, Nigeria, they owe him some element of gratitude, because he is now a man I would call the trailblazer in the refinery sectors of this country. He's been able to blaze the trail, and every other person will follow. So the Modular refinery, don't forget, when you have your refinery, you have different products coming out of the refinery. You, first of all, to build the refinery, you've created jobs for the construction. When the refinery comes on stream, we are going to be taking crude oil from the neighboring feeds, OML around. And there are various products that comes out of a refinery, not just petroleum, not just diesel. It goes through a process of fractional distillation, cracks, and everything. So if we can do it in a smaller unit, we could go to a bigger unit.
But, you know, a lot of people still believe that it is impossible for the state to support a refinery project and see it to realization, as it has just happened. No, can you please clear the doubts of these people, drawing from your rich experience in the industry? Yes.
You see, like I said, people still do not understand the work of the government. The government cannot be breastfeeding you. The government is to provide an enabling environment for investors to come in. The reason the state government was involved in this was that the people who were to build the refinery were taking a risk. And for the government to be able to encourage them, the government is saying, well, I'm ready to take this risk with you. So you are not just going to be taking the risk on your own, we're ready to carry part of the risk. That's why you see government getting involved in projects like this. Ordinarily, the government have no business with refinery. But it's been able to create an enabling environment for it. It's been able to put its resources behind it. And it's been able to attract investors to believe in it. So I think with this in the state, and like I said, in the next 4 years, I'm sure another refinery will be coming out of Edo State in a bigger capacity. Because we've tried the first one, it's working, then we'll take another step. So number one is going to create jobs, it's going to make every other state or federal government to wake up to know that most of the things they'll be telling us are not possible. You have a governor that has been able to say, gentlemen, let us wake up from our slumber. We are not going to look at our state, our country, if we can't do it for ourselves. So those who are doubting, they can go to the site. It's on internet. It's, the evidence that Nestle produces water is the bottle you have in your hand. So when they go there, they'll see the refinery on ground. And shortly, we'll be getting our product from there.
Thank you. So on the political scene, how confident are you of victory?
Do we really have people that are competing with PDP, or we have pretenders to the throne? Edo State, PDP have been very prominent as a party. And APC as a party have always given us a challenge. Don't forget, Governor Obaseki did not walk out of APC alone. Almost all his commissioners came with him. So, for you to have been a commissioner, it means you won your unit and you won your ward to be in his government. Because it's one person that does not reward mediocrity, he rewards excellence and hard work. So most of the people in his government came over with him. And these were the key players giving PDP problems at the booth. So if election in Edo State has always been 50-50 between PDP and APC. So you still retain the 50% of PDP. And now you are having, even if he just came with half of APC, which is not even the case, that means automatically you are now having almost 75% of the people in Edo State. In this election coming, like I said, it's an election that we have won as a party. In this election, you are seeing it's an election between light and darkness. Why do I have to use such statements? Practically, every person in PDP are still there. You have 3 aspirants in PDP that ran for governorship slots. And this is a man leaving APC, coming to PDP and getting the ticket. And the 3 aspirants in PDP are still intact. None left the party. None had a fight. Even those that had misgiving from the beginning was misgiving on principle, not because they wanted to leave the party. And this is a man that came in, the 3 aspirants reconciled, they joined hands with him to be campaigning without the PDP is. And he didn't just come, he came with his team. His deputy governor, you know, he's not a man given to too many languages or talk, just like the governor himself. He's basically an action personality. Then behind the scene, you have the SSG, who is like the powerhouse of the government, coming with him and his people. So basically, who is left in APC that wants to give us a fight in this election? If we are going to go to the poll, but without trying to be very arrogant, I'll still give them 30%. And we'll retain 70% in whatever form they want to do the election. Because I hear a lot of people talking about federal mines. If you remember, before he left APC, the problem he had in APC was not APC as a party or having problem with presidency or the national. It was strictly Adams and his cohorts that just wanted to give him a bad name, that he was not sharing the money. Remember, this is somebody that's coming from the private sector. He was not somebody that never had a second address, like most of them, who believe the government must send their wife to the market every 5 days, train their children, build their houses. That's not Godwin Obaseki. No. So these were the problem that they created for him and basically exited him, people. So when they are talking of federal mind, are you not telling me President Buhari will now reduce himself from his exalted position and come so low to Adam's level to play politics that will cause disunity and divide the country? Because Edo State election this year is giving the country, they are watching Edo State. So if you are asking me where are we going, the question I want to ask you is, does Adams Oshomole have the credibility within the state to stand with Godwin Obaseki when it comes to credibility, when it comes to excellence? Because, yes, I know they have a candidate. The candidate they have, if you want to know much about him, go and find out what Adams said about their candidate.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll take a short break now. We'll come back. We are going to be taking a look at the story that the governor's projects are audio projects. Stay with us.
Our MOU governor don't bring another Oyoyo project come. This time our correct governor Godwin Obaseki don't join hand with other people when sabi work, and them don't bring Edo refinery come for our state. With the same MOU when Oyibo they call Memorandum of Understanding, Edo state government don't do Edo refinery reach 80%, and the project don't already they provide job for plenty of our people. With the same MOU when some people they talk say na audio project, Governor Obaseki don't complete Emotan Garden and him don't complete Osiomo Power. With Edo refinery and all the other projects and company when our governor don't bring correct job don't dey yafu for Edo state. Them not they call us civil service state again, as Edo don't turn one of the best states for Nigeria. If we want to make all this MOU wonder continue, make we use our voters cards take choose better thing when September 19 reach. Make we remember to turn print for the umbrella party. Make we vote for PDP. Make we vote for Godwin Obaseki and Philip Shaibu, so that them will continue to do better thing for.
You are welcome back to the program. Now, Engineer Ikhine, what are the measures put in place to ensure that the people actually come out to vote as against the atmosphere of fear that pervades the air today?
You know, when you prepare so well for the exams, you don't think of how to copy, a method to copy. But when you don't prepare for exam, you start to think of how to copy. You start to think of how to bribe lecturers to pass. This is the case I see with every other party. If you look at the mayhem that have been caused in the state, it's being caused by the opposition party, APC. They want to create fear in the people. They want to stop people from coming out to vote. They go to people's house shooting, arrests are made. They are not persecuted. We have catalog of so many. But let me tell you something. Globally, nothing can suppress the will of the people, especially those state people at this time. Democracy will always triumph over the barrel of a gun. Whatever fear they are creating in people, I want to let you understand something. APC do not have absolute monopoly of violence. But because we are on a pole position, we are maintaining peace, working hard to calm the people down, does not mean we are weak. I just came straight into this studio from Benin Transport Owners Association's meeting. Their patron, Edos Motors, they all came together to endorse Governor Godwin Obaseki for a second term. And what did they say? They said they are not going to allow any person or rig the election in this coming election. They have been approached. And when we got there today, they were all wearing Godwin Obaseki's cap and dress. This election is beyond Godwin Obaseki. This election is about the people coming out now to say we want to take back our state. We want to rebuild Edo State. I can hear Nigerians saying we are watching. If it can happen in Edo State, we'll take back this country. This and everything. Because the earlier, the better we start to do things rightly. In this election, I can tell you, where you have 85% of the people in the booth supporting an aspirant, somebody is going to come with a gun to start to shoot, to despair people. Well, I don't know what to say. I think we, before they come to Edo State, we will not tolerate it, and they will not live here alive.
Now, as someone who is deeply involved in the campaigns, How confident are you that the people actually believe and support the governor as the opposition is running with the story that the governor's projects are audio projects?
Well, like I say, unless people are blind to the truth, don't forget, APC candidates that have been thoroughly stigmatized by Adams, which I don't want to go into, do not have plan for the state. He has never had one. You know, you cannot give what you don't have. If you look at his resume, his profile, he has never built anything. He's been feeding on government. And Adams on his own was feeding on labor, from labor to government. Now he's looking for somebody who can take the straw from him and put in the vote of the state so that he will be sucking. And the candidate that they have has been feeding with his straw from the purse of the state. This time around, those state people they are saying no. Adams, you've had your time. Izeyamu, you've had your time. If you are not ready to work hard to earn a living, you are not going to have the purse or the money of Edo State people. They don't have plan for the common man in the state. And everybody in Edo State knows that these people don't have plan for them. So you can see a congregation of people that want to take the state back to a position whereby they will pulverize everybody, tell widows to go and die, take the state resources. Like Adams will tell you when Izeyam was SSG, if I recall very well, he said the dual carriage road contract that was awarded to his house was supposed to be dual carriage, but by the time he got to his place, his building, and he stopped. Instead of dual carriage, it became a single lane. I don't want to go into that. That's what Adams said. Is that the kind of person you want to hand over the purse of the state to? In the last 4 years of Governor Godwin Obaseki, his achievements in terms of infrastructural development surpassed what Adams did in 8 years. So how can people go to the stadium and see? Do you know that if I tell you, the governor, I said, I hear you were the one driving this project. He said, yes. I said, you mean you spent under 4 billion to do this project? He said, yes. And I was amazed. I was forced to take a tour around the entire stadium, and I still couldn't believe it as a civil engineer. That's the level of prudence, discipline, probity, and accountability that this government has displayed in the last 4 years. So, when people are saying he has not done anything, who are the people saying it? Is it the Edo people or the APC? People want, you have to put something in propaganda to be able to win a vote. But you see, a man can have a blind dream and blind ambition, but the people he's speaking to, they have eyes. I can tell you, Edo State, I say categorically in capital letter, Edo State unit. Wait till your vote is counted. Not wait till your vote is counted. Wait till your vote will be counted and recorded. Escort that result to the Ward Collation Center and don't leave there. Wait until the results are collated at the ward section, recorded. Escort the result to the local government where they will do collation. When you get to the local government, because this is not just going to be an election, this is a movement. This is a revolution. This is a fight between, nobody should sleep. Everybody must be there until the result is collated and announced. If everybody in Edo State have to be at INEC office, we will stand at INEC office and ensure that truth and light prevail over lies and darkness. So my advice to Edo people is that your hope will not be dashed. Your vote will not be cast away. Your vote will count and the true result will be read. Forget about the noise you are hearing.
A page and take one or two comments. Stay with us.
Let's turn on the lights in Edo.
You're welcome back to the last segment. Now, Engineer Ikhine, what is the, I'm going to read it the way he wrote it. What is the chances of Edo Central after Obaseki in 2024?
Well, I always believe in taking one step at a time right now. The project right now is getting Obaseki to do his foundation under Adams Oshomole. The steel belt of Usumbo was what cost the central their turn. Now Edo South have done another 8 years, making it 16 years. Definitely, after these 4 years, it will be the turn of the central. Everybody in the state, the central have been predominantly PDP. We've never lost any major election. And this time around, we are giving all the support we have to Governor Obaseki. If you recall, the 3 aspirants that were in the race, 2 of us were from Central. And we willingly stepped aside to support his vision as a senatorial zone. So I think 4 years' time will be a payback time. Because 2 people are on the ballot for PDP right now, Governor Obaseki and Central. Because if APC gets it, they all know that Izeyamu will do 8 years. And that will be a setback for them. And Izeyamu is not particularly a man that like the Ishan people. Because if you recall, after His Excellency Lucky Benedion's 8 years, he then as Chief of Staff or SSG